I saw in Oliver Darcy's newsletter yesterday, and it just sort of shook me up. I'm going to read the headline, what it says in Oliver Darcy's newsletter, and I'm going to send this to Andy. Andy, you can put it up because it's from Deadline. And I just want to show you guys how we have an opportunity here, and not because of we're not taking glean anybody's downfall. We're just telling you the reality of what's happening in the world. But I got Oliver's newsletter last night. You guys know I have Oliver on. Usually I have him on Friday. What I got from Status yesterday was really surprising to me. So on Status, this is what it said. So it says, it talked about packing up the Peacock, which was, let's see if I can get it online. That's all right. That's okay. I'll tell you what it says. It talked about packing up the Peacock, which was MSNBC is moving out of their headquarters. They've been spun off, right? And so this is what it said, which really got my attention because I don't really read the trades and I don't pay. Oh, there it is. So if you go down where it says Off the Wire, if you have that subscription, go scroll down to where it says.
I do not have the subscription.
That's okay. I have it, but I'll just tell you what it says. It says, Off the Wire, it says, cable news networks saw year-over-year audience declines from 2024. While declines are expected after an election year, CNN's numbers in particular remain dangerously low. Now, this is Oliver Darcy reporting that. Remain dangerously low. The cable news network averaged only 497,000 total viewers in prime time for the month of July, despite unrelenting waves of major news. Wow. The news cycle that we're having right now is actually, I'll explain to this. Despite unrelenting waves of major news, MSNBC, by comparison, averaged 865,000 total viewers. Meanwhile, Fox News averaged 2.41 million viewers. And then, Andy, did you get the Deadline article that I sent? Because I'm not on the page. Is that up?
It's up.
Okay, so if you look at this Deadline article, Fox News tops July ratings, but all major networks, news networks, see decline versus 2024 election year frenzy. Okay, so let's go down into the body of this. Fox News noted that it topped the broadcast network's primetime averages for the month. In total day, Fox News averaged 1.53 million, down 19%, while MSNBC posted 530,000, down 26%, and CNN averaged 370,000, down 29%. In the 25 to 54 demo. Fox News averaged 184,000. That's down 31%. CNN posted 62,000, down 44%. And MSNBC was at 52,000. They're off by 37%. That is crazy. I don't have Oliver here, but I do have Peter here. And Peter, both of us worked in legacy media at cable news. I mean, are those numbers shocking to you?
It's pretty stunning, Don. I'm not gonna lie. It's stunning.
It's kind of sad. I mean, I worked with the best journalist at CNN, and I'm sure Peter feels the same way at MSNBC. And it really does break my heart because there are some really great people over there. You know, I told you how much my affinity that I have for Aaron Burnett. And then I have my friends Laura and Abby. They're on there, but it's not the same anymore. And so, look, Patty P7, thank you for your support, but you guys understand what I'm saying. What do you think when you see these numbers, Peter? I know it's unexpected because I didn't think I'm taking a left turn here, but what do you think?
Don, there's a part of me, and I've told you this before, so forgive me, but some of this is their own making, right? We've talked about how in the top brass's quest for trying to reduce costs and not wanting to create the stars of tomorrow because, you know, someone with the talent of, say, Rachel Maddow is so expensive, they've deliberately tried to,
or Don Lemon,
of course. They have not invested in the type of personalities that really bring an audience in. And this is one of, that is one of the, one of the things that's now brought us to this place. Another factor, of course, is kowtowing to the administration. Another factor, of course,
That's
is
yeah.
story selection and being unwilling to really cover what people are interested in, like Epstein. But yeah, it's a dire outlook.
And what do you think? I agree with you, and whether no matter how you feel about the whole Tapper book, because that caused such huge headlines. The reporting was that a lot of people started tuning out after that book because they did not think it was fair. Now, look, you be the judge of whether it's fair or not, the reporting on it. But that again, that they were kowtowing. And remember the thing that happened with Morning Joe. Now, I think that I'm pretty fair about it. I give people their praise and whatever. Jake is actually a former colleague and a friend. And you know, I look at all the folks there, whether they think I'm a friend or not. I still love them and I want them to succeed over at CNN and at MSNBC. You guys know I go on Jen's show all the time. I'm going on Ari Melber's show soon. Simone wants me to come on her show. I'm going to go on Simone's show. So I support them, but they're in a really tough place right now. And it's not necessarily the journalists making. I think Peter is right. I think it is the corporation's making, because a lot of the times the corporation wants the news cycle and the focus and the take on the news to be their particular point of view in the world. And that's not necessarily how Americans in the world are seeing it. They want people who are straight talkers. And so, and then I watch clips from News Nation, News, whatever, and even they, and some of the folks that I work with, I'm shocked to hear their take on the news, and I know how they feel about the news personally and their experience with the administration. I know how they feel, but then on the air they say something else because I think that they feel that they have to because they want to save their jobs. So it is quite a mess. Do you think, Peter, again, I know we're going off on a tangent a little bit, but do you think that like this reporting from the Tapper book and all that, because I know you felt a certain kind of way about Joe Biden and all that, but regardless, a lot of folks are wondering, well, is this fair? Are people like looking, because we talk about Donald Trump's weave and cognitive decline and windmills, and I don't see any books or people doing exposés on Donald Trump losing it or his health conditions as much as they did on Joe Biden, Donald Trump's cankles or ankles or whatever it is, and his hand and all of that, and the issue that he's having, the venous, whatever it is. I don't see people focusing on it the same way they did Joe Biden. And I think it is, people aren't stupid. The audience is not stupid. And they go, you know what? I don't want to have to deal with this. I'm tuning out.
I think there's been a deliberate purge of those who are most willing to speak the truth, no matter how ugly it is, in legacy media and corporate media. I think of folks like Mehdi and Joy, who were very outspoken about what they saw as war crimes and ethnic cleansing in Gaza. I think of you, Don, and how you were so ahead of the curve in calling out Donald Trump in the first term as a racist. It seems to me that even before we saw some of the most fascistic tactics employed by this now second Trump administration, um, the corporate folks in legacy media have just been so risk averse and now only want voices they feel they can control. And I think audiences perceive that, and that is my guess as to why we're seeing these numbers.
What I want to see what some of the folks are, put some of the stuff up in the chat. And by the way, thank you for your very generous support here. But I do have to say, this is why it's important for you guys to support. These are the subjects that we talk about, that D.L. Hughley and I talk about when we do our, put it up, when we do our talk, our show at City Winery that we want to take around the country. And that is on August 12th. So if you want to share your thoughts on this, you want to be heard, you want to see us, this is what we're going to do on August 12th at City Winery. DL and DL, Anything Goes, episode 2, Don Lemon and DL Hughley. And it will be an experience that you won't forget. You know how the folks on the right are going around and they do shows and they do talks and they do town halls? Well, we were going to do it, the folks who are in the center left, center right, even progressive. We're trying to do that and create that space, and especially for everyone, but especially for people who are in the underserved communities right now, especially for people who have been taken out of the the talk and communications and headlines, and even at their own companies and own jobs, because of this push to get rid of diversity, equity, and inclusion, which we will show you what happened. Hey, Corbin Bolies is on from the Daily Beast. Corbin, thank you for joining us. We went off on a little bit of a tangent. We're going to get to your reporting on Donald Trump, but do you mind talking to us about the media? Because I know you guys have been reporting on that and just what is happening with legacy media. And I was just showing, Deadline had this article about the decline in cable news, and I am shocked to see that there's like a 37 or 30-some% drop and a 40-some% drop in the demo, and then 20 and up to 30, close to 30% drop in just household numbers. And it's just really surprising to me. And we're wondering, what's the effect of cost cutting? What's the effect? What effect does cost cutting have? Cord cutting, I should say, have on it? And also, folks appearing to be sort of kowtowing and bending the knee to the networks. But you guys don't do that over at the Daily Beast, which is why I was happy to write an op-ed for you guys, because I think you do it without fear or favor, and you do it with some swag, and you're a bit of provocateurs over there, and I really like it, because I think we need that in this moment, and we need sharper people who are sharper and more focused in their tone on telling the truth, and I think that you guys are doing it. But when you look at these things, and then I'll put this up. This is from Brendan Carr. This is over on the FCC's website. Do we have the letter from the FCC up there, or from Skydance? And we'll put that up later. But Skydance has basically sent a letter to Brendan Carr saying, we're getting rid of our diversity, equity, and inclusion. This is the promise that we're making here, that we're going to not, focus on diversity, equity, and inclusion in a way that blah, 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 blah. But it is seen, and they wanted to get this merger through. And so Skydance is sending this because they want this Paramount merger, and, it involves CBS and 60 Minutes and all of that. And they are really bending the knee to the network. I know that it's a little bit of a left turn. I just went on this tangent. I didn't think about it until I started talking this morning. So what do you make of all of this? And because I know that you guys have been reporting on it over there. Good morning, and thank you for joining.
Good morning, Don, and thanks again for writing for us this month. We would love more of that. But when you look at how the media has tried to navigate this space under Donald Trump's America, it's been a bit of a mixed bag. We've seen some companies take, and this falls in line with a number of institutions. We've seen some media outlets try and make sure that their reporting is strong. They're willing to push back against the president. You look at the Wall Street Journal reporting on Donald Trump's relationship with Jeffrey Epstein. They were willing to do that despite the president calling its editor-in-chief, despite calling its owner, Rupert Murdoch, and saying, don't report on this. I will sue you like I sued everybody else. Wall Street Journal still came out with its report anyway, and has said it will vigorously defend itself against his $10 billion lawsuit. But then on the other hand, you have companies like Paramount Global, which has been working for the last year to try and get this merger with Skydance Media approved, has been willing to cut DEI, has been willing to settle a lawsuit that most legal experts believed was baseless with the president over his anger over a 60 Minutes episode that he thought was unfair. And it becomes the cost of doing business. And you have organizations that ask, is this what I want to be doing? And you have others that say, well, this is the business reality for me, and I have to do what's best for my business, regardless of what the journalistic ethics of that look like. Now, when it comes to how people are engaging with the media, the election obviously excites a lot of interest. Last year was a rather intense July between Donald Trump's assassination attempt and Joe Biden withdrawing from the presidential race. So some tuning out is to be expected. However, you have more people than ever looking at these networks and saying, I don't want to watch this. I don't want to engage with this. I'd rather turn to independent creators. I'd rather turn to TikTok for my news. And that puts media companies at bind, because how do you advertise and market to people who aren't tuning in? That's why you have companies like NBC splitting itself up. You have Warner Brothers splitting itself up. And you have companies questioning, is this news business really worth it?
Yeah. I mean, it's really, really unbelievable. Corbin, thank you for weighing in on that. And again, I think a bit of a left turn. I did not plan on talking about this, but the Elimination can tell you I often go on a bit of a tangent. And if you want to check out what I wrote, check it out. It's on the Daily Beast. Andy, if you could put that up, maybe we can put a link to it at the top of the chat. But what I wrote yesterday is on the Daily Beast, and I think it was, I forget what the name of it was, but basically it was Donald Trump is jealous of Barack Obama, and he really wants to be Barack Obama, but it's over on thedailybeast.com, and put that in the top of the chat and we'll discuss. Corbin, now let's put up your piece. Corbin, in your piece, you say Ghislaine Maxwell's life may be at risk in prison. What are you talking about, Corbin? Take us through this article. This is, I mean, to me, pretty provocative. Why would you say her life may be at risk in prison?
Totally. So, Julie K. Brown, who's an esteemed reporter of the Miami Herald, broke the Jeffrey Epstein story wide open in 2018 with her Perversion of Justice series, came onto the Daily Beast podcast with our chief content officer, Joanna Coles. And Joanna asked her, is Ghislaine Maxwell's life in danger now that she's spoken out, now that she's promised to spill the beans on what really happened in Jeffrey Epstein's empire? Could she face some type of concern in light of what happened with Jeffrey Epstein in 2019? The Justice Department said he died by suicide. People don't believe that wholesale. And there are concerns about, could Ghislaine Maxwell's life be at risk too? Julie said that it's possible that jails are dangerous places, that it's very easy to cover up a crime here. We've seen the theories that have emerged in light of this missing minute at Jeffrey Epstein's prison. So what could happen in a minute? A lot. So as Ghislaine Maxwell's engaging with the Justice Department and promising to speak out about things, asking for immunity, asking for protection, then it begs the question of what is her future in this prison? And is she in danger for speaking out?
And the thing
And
is that, go on, sorry.
Now the Bureau of Prisons, who I've reached out to, who manages the prison that Ghislaine Maxwell's in, has said that they work to keep a safe environment. They want to keep things pretty. They want to keep their inmates safe. They wouldn't speak about her specific conditions, but at this prison, Federal Corrections Institution Tallahassee, where she's based, it's been known for having a bit of a safety and trust issue with correctional officers. There have been correctional officers who have been indicted and sentenced for sexually assaulting inmates in recent years. And an Office of Inspector General's report from the Justice Department a couple of years ago said that the conditions of the prison were kind of run down. Inmates were being served moldy food, they were leaking. So if you have an inmate, a high-profile inmate, in a prison that isn't terribly well kept, then you wonder what could happen to this inmate there. And the question is, we don't know yet.
Yeah. Is there any, this possibly, Corbin, I would think might be, at least one of the justifications, so to speak, or possible evidence that Ghislaine Maxwell's attorneys will try to bring forward if she does go and it is deposed by Congress or testifies in front of Congress or anyone else, to say, well, she should get out because her life is in danger or in jeopardy, just as, and the actual proof of that would be, well, Jeffrey Epstein. There's still some controversy or concern or suspicion about how he actually died in prison. What was the cause of his death in prison? So therefore, something that she should be given some sort of leeway to either maybe serve in a different prison or maybe that she, I don't know, house arrest. I have no idea. I'm just saying they may use this as possible evidence to try to get her out of it or at least some sort of leniency.
Right. You have one of the conditions for her testimony to Congress being that she can't do it at her correctional institution right now. So she's trying to get out of this environment for fear of her life. She's currently petitioning the Supreme Court to overturn her conviction. And there have been public pleas of a pardon from President Trump, who hasn't ruled it out in his public statements, saying that he has the ability to do it. But it's something that he isn't thinking about, quote, right now. So what happens to Ghislaine Maxwell's prison sentence, somebody who is a convicted child sex trafficker, that remains to be seen. But I think that there is some worry amongst her team about what her safety looks like as she engages with the Justice Department.
You guys are reporting on a lot of different things over there at the Daily Beast. And I'm wondering if you have any more information. I don't know if you guys share anything of what could happen with this possible. Where are we, if you know, Corbin? Again, I don't want to throw you any curveballs. Where are we on this latest about her possibly testifying or being deposed by Congress? Because also up on the Daily Beast as well, you have White House officials fear Epstein fallout will slash Trump's crowd sizes. That's a whole nother story. But you have anything that you can share with us about other things that are coming up on the Daily Beast?
So we don't have any new revelations yet on what Ghislaine Maxwell's testimony to Congress would look like, but we're actively working to figure out what that could mean, what she may tell them, who she might talk about, and where the story will go from here. You have a subpoena from the House Oversight Committee asking Maxwell to testify next month. Ghislaine Maxwell's attorney said that they were going to invoke her Fifth Amendment, but they'd be willing to engage if they offered her immunity, which has been a non-starter for somebody who was convicted for child sex trafficking for this committee. So we're actively working to see what she will do, what she will say, whether she shows up in response to the subpoena at all, and who may get roped up in this Jeffrey Epstein case that doesn't seem to be ending anytime soon.
Yeah. Mr. Corbin Bolies from the Daily Beast. Make sure you check out his article, which I thought was fascinating, on whether Ghislaine Maxwell's life is in jeopardy if she are at risk, as he says, in prison. The author is with us from the Daily Beast, Corbin Bolies. Corbin, thank you. I appreciate you joining, and I appreciate you weighing in on the media stuff as well and rolling with the punches. It's always a pleasure to have you. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Don. Have a great one.
Thanks everyone for watching. Your support means the world to us. So make sure you hit the like button and you subscribe to our channel to make sure that you never ever miss a video. We're live every day, 10 a.m. Eastern time. We drop even more content at 2 p.m. Eastern and 5 p.m. Eastern. And if you want more Don Lemon Show content, we'd love for you to become a member of the Lemon community, where you will receive access to special community posts. You'll get exclusive content and members-only live shows. So head over to our channel page or click the join button on this video. Again, thank you for watching. We appreciate your love and your support, and we will see you next time.